Oh, it must be Monday night, evening. Oh, we've got James, we've got Bo, we've got Fish on, we've got Glenn. Everyone's logging in now. Don't forget postcodes. Postcode prize tonight. We got a Western swim bait. We got a large cod plastic and a couple of hard bodies there as well. That'll be the postcode prize. We've got some stickers that'll go with it as well. So don't forget to put your postcodes in. Listen, we've got a great guest on tonight, one from last season. Adrian's going to talk to us all about the Bass Electric series. So we're going to go all over Bass Electric, or generally just ask us any questions you want. Hang as much shit on as you want. It doesn't really matter. But we're going to have some fun tonight. We'll also cover Adrian's pretty good on the lithium batteries. And, for the guys that are running the lithium batteries, they're pretty much all over it now. And, of course, the electric guys just run everything. So it's all off it. We've got heaps of people on. That's really cool. I've got no real major updates from last week other than I've got my new active target. Spent some of today installing. I've just got some wiring to finish off, and I'll be able to give you some update on the active target. But, yes, we're going to talk all things Bass Electric. So postcode prize is there. Whack your postcodes in. Harry's wheel later on will obviously come from the best question of the night. So get your questions in if you want to go into Harry's wheel as well. G'day, Peter, the Borough. There you go. Keith, Kyle, Dave, they're all on. So there's heaps of people on. So, listen, we're going to do something a little bit different for next week's show as well. So this week we're going to talk Bass Electrics, anything you want. We're going to go for a full-on show next week. I've actually talked to Matty Langford, and we are going to do basically sit here and just answer questions for as long as we need to. So he will answer them in depth for you next week. So, Alion, you might get a question actually answered next week. Thanks for sending in your photo of your prize from last week as well. Listen, I can talk. I did low stock. Yeah, we've got questions coming in already. That's really cool. As I said, let's get him on and have a quick chat, and then we'll go out to questions. G'day, mate. How you going?
Yeah, good. Yourself?
Good. Thanks for coming on. I know it was a bit of short notice. I had a different guest lined up for this weekend, and they had to pull out. Well, I was sort of looking at you in a couple of weeks' time. So we've pulled your interview forward, but we have left you offside or out this time.
That's all good, mate. It's an honour to be invited back. Generally, when I go somewhere or I've been somewhere, I don't get invited back. So it's a privilege to come back, mate.
No, you're doing a great job. Obviously, we talked about it last year that you're taking over the electric series. For people who don't know what that's about, it's run through or under the ABT banner. And basically, they get one of the fishermen to try and Joey Urquhart took it over a couple of years ago and built it up. Now you've taken it to the next level again. So you're building it back up to what it used to be sort of 7, 8, 10 years ago, aren't you?
Trying to, mate. Most definitely. I got massive shoes to fill taking over from Joey. He did such an awesome job, like bringing the series back to where it was years ago, like you said. But, oh, man, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'll give it a shot, most definitely.
No, I've been loving the feedback I've been getting. Obviously, I'm out and about all the time and through the show and everything else, getting lots of good feedback, lots of stuff's going up on Facebook and through all the Instagram channels, and nothing's been negative. So you must be doing something right.
Oh, mate, you can pay the boys off. So that's the good thing about it. Slip a few lures here and there, and they'll put in a good word for you. So, and I'm actually enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. I've just sort of got to get over my nervous side of talking public.
Yeah, and we talked about this last year. That was one of the things that was sort of holding you back in the early stages of negotiation of taking it over. That you weren't really 100% sure how you'd go with that. But how have you found it being that you have to? I always found when you're involved in tournaments in some way, shape, or form, like a tournament director, it's very hard to juggle the be friends but be firm at the same time. How have you gone with that?
Mate, I'm taking it in my stride. It's all a new. I've been fishing the tournaments for that long, and I know what goes on. the briefing beforehand and stuff. It's just a matter of being able to face my fears, I suppose you could say, in publicly talking. I've always been nervous when I'm in front of the crowd. I don't know why, but you know, I'm getting there, so I'm happy with it.
It's something that you can get over, I think, where, you know, speaking in public, you listen to all the so-called gurus, and they say you've just got to get up there and think about other stuff and do all this yada yada. But it's just a point of just continuing to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Like, just, you know, I don't know. It's how would you put it? Like, see, here I go. I'm getting stuck. No, I'm just got to think of stuff to say. It's just when you start doing it, and you know, you're giving the briefing, it just rolls off your head, and you know.
And you've been there enough. You've done it for long enough. I mean, you know how you take the best of everyone else that's been before you. You put your little spin on it, and you try and make it your own, don't you?
Oh, for sure. And in the beginning, like when we used to have volunteers run each separate round, ever since I've been doing it, I've always wanted to sort of like have one person run the whole series, but I've never wanted to put my hand up myself. But, you know, Joey did it, and he done it for 3 years, and he done an awesome job, like I've said. So, you know, I think it's probably just my turn.
I think we get to that stage too, don't we, man, where it's time to put a little bit back into the sport.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
You know, we can sit there. I'd love to just go fishing and Yahoo and everything else, but you've got other things that you've got to do and help with, and you've taken this on board. So hats off to you. That's really cool. I've been watching, as I said, a couple more. You've been a little bit more active on the old book face and stuff like that. I enjoyed the Specsavers video a couple of weeks ago. That was a really cool video. Did you was that just something that just happened? Had the camera on and it just worked that way?
What happened was that was actually down the Hens, and I came across that point. I was up the back of the dam and I was heading down towards the dam wall, and I came across that point and there were fish all over it. I sat there for probably, I don't know, 40 minutes on them. I couldn't get a bite, so I headed down to the dam wall, looked around down there, got a few fish. Before the gate closes at 5:30, I thought I'll go back to that point, have a look, see if the fish is still there. The fish had moved on, but I thought I'll have a bit of a cast around. And I don't know if it was that particular fish, but there was a bass in there just blowing up constantly for 20 to 30 seconds. I had enough time to cut a lure off, tie the surface lure on, move in there, set my camera up. And prior to that, I'd plunged, I think about 2 casts before that, I had a blow up. And then I turned around and faced out that way to where I'd cast. And that fish came up, he smacked it. The second time he smacked it, if you can watch it closely, that video, he's actually tail slapped that lure to, well, probably 2 or 3 foot away. And as soon as it's hit the water, he's just blowing back up underneath it again. And I'm just like, what what's going on? Come on, can't you hit the bloody thing?
It was an amazing video to see. Like, it just kept coming back and and having a go.
Incredible.
You know, you couldn't get the hook set at all.
No, it was just, it was toying with me.
He was.
And I was getting cheesed off.
But as you said, it was one of those moments where you had that time to get it in there. Hey, listen, we've got a couple of quick questions. The guys are already on there picking on you because you haven't got your high vis shirt on tonight.
Mate, hey, that's me. I like to change things up a bit. I knew the boys would be expecting me to have my vis on tonight, so yeah, no.
All right.
Change it up a bit.
Bo wants to know, what's one thing you want to be remembered by for running the electric comps, like, you know, any major changes or new platforms or rules that you'd love to see brought in?
Oh, just hopefully I don't stuff it up. That's the main thing. You know, it's... just don't stuff it up. Like, you know, I want to try and give the boys a good comp. And the biggest thing for me, but that's a killer, is actually having to come in half an hour early to, you know, organise the scales and, you know, just organise stuff and get it ready before everybody else comes in. Because I've never been the first person in, never. I will fish to the end, to the last second if need be. to try and get a fish or improve my bag. But it's hard for me to come in half an hour early when I know there's other guys fishing.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it was. I didn't think it'd be that hard until we had some bigger fields in the ABT comps where we were having separated finish times, and that was up to a half an hour window where it was different to day one to day two, that people were still getting that bite. It was hard to do. I definitely think of that. Do you think if there's any to answer the end of that question? We talked before that you might look at expanding the range of those electric comps and maybe heading a little bit further south for a few of them.
Yeah, possibly, mate. It all depends on getting the people there. Like, I would be more than happy to go down to Blue Rock, but I'm not going to go down there for 10 people, 10 competitors. I would want like something like 30 competitors at least to make it worthwhile driving down there.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's the problem, with New South Wales. Like, the boys went down to Lostock. Unfortunately, I couldn't make Lostock due to last-minute work issues and stuff like that. I'm just trying to encourage the sport and get more people back into it, especially the southern guys. Like, we've had a few of the kayak guys come up from down south, which is awesome to see, and having the kayakers involved is cool too.
But I think in general, what people don't realise is it's a really good starting point for your fishing journey. If you can't afford the biggest and the best of anything, you can literally get out there in a tinny with an electric motor on the front and be competitive, can't you?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, like the way I look at what I save on my boat gives me more to spend on fishing gear or electronics or what. Half the guys that are running in the electric series now, they've got, state-of-the-art motors, sounders, everything. It's all, the only thing they don't have is the big boat. And, it's to have the big boat, then you got the fuel cost associated with it. Like, obviously, that's not, some guys, it's not an issue too, but just the 1 or 2 day format that we're doing, it's a lot cheaper to do tournament fishing, in the series that we're doing it in, but you can still, spend the money how you want on your boat.
Yeah, for sure. And that's it. You can get the best of everything at the top end of your boat that you want in the way of electronics and everything else, and still come under the buy price of most other boats. Now,
sure.
Yeah, I do have to say, I'll bring up a photo here for people that don't actually realise. Now, this, apart from the Mercury motor on the back, this is actually the grand final prize. So, Allocraft look after me. My little pocket rocket is an Allocraft boat, but they're bought in. This is a fully decked out electric boat that's going to be the prize for the grand final, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, mate. From what I believe it is, it's also going to have an electric motor, a sounder, and a lithium battery, I believe.
Yep. So that boat, they're perfect little boat for anyone. And all you have to do in the electric series is to qualify for the grand final is try and get to 1 or 2 rounds, isn't it?
That's correct, mate. Yes. So you fish 1 or 2 tournaments. You don't even have to place. Like in years gone past, you had to finish in the top 5. And obviously there would be a count back on that at the end of the year. So you might say finish 10th or 15th, but the guys in front of you have already qualified, so you get in that way. But now it's just you fish 1 or 2 tournaments. You don't even have to weigh a bag, mate, which is quite incredible because I've fished 2 tournaments this year and both of them I've got donuts. I don't think I've done that in years gone by.
And the entry fees are basically next to nothing. So you price each time you go out to fish. It is just such a cost-effective way to fish because you guys that are out there, there's some bloody talented anglers out there that are doing this. It's not as if you can just go there and win it. The talent pool there is amazing.
Mate, look, there are so many Bass Pro guys, especially from years gone past, that have done the electric series. Like, you name anybody off the Bass Pro series now, and most of the guys have done an electric series at some stage. You know, they've been going for, well, I've been fishing for, what, 15, 16 years?
Yep.
And they were going well before myself started. So, you know, you name them, they've been there, they've done it.
I can remember, I can't remember, I think it might have been at BP when he's come up to BP once, and because some of your dams that you have on, you can't have a petrol motor on the boat at all, but obviously at Bjelke Peterson was not one of those. I think it was, I can't remember who it was, but they were out in the big Legend boat, just using the electric on the front, cruising around, fishing the comp. I thought that's really cool, even though, you know, there's guys out there in the smaller boats. They decided that, yep, we're going to go there and fish it, and we're just going to use the electric. So they used the big boat for it as well. So it's not just for electric guys. I mean, the other guys, as long as the dam provides the ability to still leave your 4-stroke on the back, you're just not allowed to use it. That's how it works?
That's exactly right. And nearly all the dams that we fish now, I think, bar possibly Clary Hall, allow that. You're just not allowed to have a petrol motor on Clary Hall. Hens you're allowed to, Wyaralong you're allowed to, any of them. And you know, it's good competing against those guys. Like, it's not too often that we get the blast past, you know, a $70,000 boat, man. It's just
yeah, that's it. And
you know, more or less.
And you go to some pretty cool venues. So for the people that don't know, you know, name a few of the venues you've been to over the last couple of years. Like, as you said, the stalwarts, obviously everyone knows that Hins is, you know, normally on the list, but you get around a fair bit, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Like, well, so far this year, we've done Toowoomba. That was a pretty good turnout. And Toowoomba is an awesome place to have a tournament. We generally have it's a 2-dayer, an afternoon session and a morning session there. This year, the water was pretty murky, but obviously the boys still caught fish. So that, you know, that's people that go, oh, look, I'm not going to go and fish that tournament because the water's brown. You're not doing yourselves any favours. You're not going to learn if you don't go and fish it. You know, and that's to me, that's the best part about it, is fishing in tough conditions. Like, you know, it's good to go to Ivanhoe when you can go and smack, you know, 50, 60, 70 fish in a day. But it's not, to me, I'm not learning anything. I'm just going through the processes of casting out a 40-gram spoon, roll it, drop it, roll it, draw it. There's a fish. But the hard tournaments for me are the best ones, because that's where I learn, and that's right. What have I got to do to get a fish? We had Clary Hall, which is, oh, mate, that is just the prettiest dam going, I reckon. You know, there's not too many dams better than that. I went down there for 2 pre-fishes. I had 2 spots marked out. One was in the timber and one was on a point. And when we took off, I went straight to the timber. I couldn't see the fish that I'd seen there the previous week. There were fish milling around, and this was on my active target. You could see the fish in the treetops. And I was getting them on crankbaits in my pre-fish. The fish weren't there. I think I spent about half an hour there, and I just said, like, talk to myself all the time. Man, there's no fish here. What are you doing here, dude? Go, move. So I moved to my secondary spot, which was this point, and it was just loaded with fish. The whole bay was just had full of fish. And I sat on those fish for 4 hours trying to entice a bite. I finally get my first bite at 10:40. I get my last bite at 10:40 and 1 second. So I had one bite and I missed it, and yeah, it just blew it for me. But that's the thing, slogging it out. If I got that one fish, well, I definitely would have been in the top 10, because only 9 guys weighed in. And that, you know, to me, that's it, just slogging it out, grinding it out. I could have moved, but I couldn't find any more schools in the pre-fish. So I thought, well, what's the point of racing around? I know there's fish here.
Yep, for sure. Now, I've got a question here, actually, from Bluefin Boats, and they've put up, is there an appetite for a Blass Electric Teams event? So in the sense of, for people who don't know, you can fish 2 up on the electric boat, but you're still fishing against each other.
That's correct.
You and
what's his face?
Yeah, you used to fish all the time out of the same boat.
Yeah. No, during Bass Nation tournaments and stuff like that, we would fish as a team. I would love to see some teams events, and maybe down the track I can organise that. It just depends on ABT if they want to do that. Fishing with your mate as a team is just awesome. And the banter that used to go on the boat while we were fishing was just people could hear us.
I heard it all
halfway down the dam and shit like that.
All right.
But I would love to see some teams events. I'd love someone to get on board and make some teams events. I'd be more than happy to run them.
Oh, look, I used to love the Bass Nation teams events. They were really good fun. Matty, Mick, myself, Greggy Mitchell, we all used to just camp together and have a fat time. I used to love the teams events. Let's go to another question. Paul wants to know, will we see any comps at Grahamstown Dam? I don't even know where that is.
Yeah. Where is it, Paul? I've got no idea. I've never heard of it. Sorry, mate.
All right. Well, we'll get Paul. He'll still be on there watching, so we'll get Paul to let us know where Grahamstown Dam is, because I've never heard of it, so that's all good. Let's go with Peter wants to know, hey, mate, is there a minimum requirement for the Bass Electric Series? I've just set up a second boat to fish our local electric-only dam with my boy, and can kids fish as well?
Right, Pete, the only requirement is that you need a plumbed 60-litre live well, mate. Other than that, you can fish out of, mate, if it floats, you can stick batteries in it, you've got an electric motor on it, or alternatively a kayak. You can fish out of it, mate, not a problem.
So guys
can that 60-litre plumbed live well.
So when you're saying plumbed live well, does that mean that just aeration, or they've got to have their recycled
No,
water?
You can have just aeration.
Yeah,
as long as it's aerated inside, you're one of those floating aerators, or just one hooked up on a battery or something like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, pumping water from inside or outside the boat.
Yeah, so I did see a couple of years ago, as I said, I haven't fished one for a couple of years, but I did see guys with, massive, really cool eskies, like the good ones, and they had aerators going into them, and the fish were better than in the friggin' bass boats live.
Oh, most definitely. Like the eskies are insulated, and you can't probably get anything better to keep you fishing.
Yeah.
But like the guy, White Wigger, that I started fishing with, that's all we ever used to use in his boat was a 60-litre esky with just an aerator and a battery. We just fill it up with water, fire a bucket, just have the aerator going, and we never had any issues with keeping fish alive.
Yep, and kids are welcome at the Bass Electric Series, I believe.
Yeah, there is I'm not sure, mate. This is bad on my behalf. I'm not sure if there is a minimum age, but providing there's a guardian on board, they're pretty well safe to fish it.
Yeah,
there are a couple of young fellas fishing with their dads at the moment.
Yeah, they can't go out by themselves.
No.
As a junior, but they can go out with somebody else and allowing that they're going out with their parents a lot better than sending them out with somebody else that they don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. So that's really cool. Westy wants to know where your passion comes from.
I don't need to tell you, brother. I just love fishing. It's what I do. It's who I am. Mate, you've seen me that many times on the boat. It's just, and we've had some awesome sessions together too, dude. Like just going out and getting heaps of fish and getting big fish and just having a ball. And it's just about, for me, it's about being outdoors and just enjoying what's around me. And that's probably why I like the electrics so much, because we don't have jet skis and wake boats and stuff like that running around disturbing you. Although maroon might be a bit of a different story. Hopefully there won't be too many skiers and wake boats and stuff like that out there.
But it is, that's another, you've got to look at all the other different things. Like the previous question, if you want to take your kids to an event, excuse me, I shouldn't sneeze down here at the moment. Another 4 cases, I'll have me on a COVID test. So, another reason to get your kids on the water. You're at venues that are electric only. You haven't got the big wake boats, and you've got your smaller boats. You're a lot safer in that scenario, aren't you?
For sure. Like, I think we had I was pre-fishing for a tournament that we were going to have at Mugra 5-6 years ago. And I made the silly mistake of going out there on a Saturday. And I think it was coming into spring. And I was the first boat on the water. And by about 10 or 11 o'clock, I just had a gut full of all the boats racing around and whatnot. So I started making my way back across the dam. This wake boat went past me in front of me. I've taken a wave completely over the front of my boat. And I just thought first instance was, oh my God, I'm going to be a submarine now. The water just came over and it started pushing my rods off the back of the boat. I'm scrambling around the back of the boat trying to grab all my rods. And I just lost the shit. This ain't for me. Get off the dam. As you would.
All right, Scott wants to know this. I'll lead into this after you finish, but this is a good question. How long until electric motors will have enough power to get a boat on the plane, or is it just a matter of bolting multiples onto the back? I think
No, Scott, if I follow a lot of the American bass electric sites, and there's boats in the States, although they're John boats, so they're a lot narrower than what we fish out of, so they have less draw or less drag. But there's boats pushing, I think, 16 miles an hour over there, just electric only boats. The biggest killer is being able to afford the batteries to do that.
Yeah,
that's the killer. Like a lot of the boys are starting to go lithium and whatnot. And to me, that's the way of the future. It just takes so much weight out of your boat. But yeah, there's definitely boats in the States that get on the plane. And once you get on the plane, well, obviously you can drop your power or your amps being used back a bit just so you can stay on the plane. But mate, you don't see them around too much. There were a couple of guys that I used to fish with 7-8 years ago. Ian Galloway was one of them, and he's got a motor called the Griffin, and it looks like a proper petrol outboard, except they've taken the motor off it and put a power head on in the motor, and it's a 72 volt. You can change it to whatever you want, but he's got it set up as a 72 volt motor.
Yeah,
and I think it pushed his boat along around about 15 k's.
Yeah,
but it wasn't enough to get up on the plane.
No. Mercury in works at the moment for a whole new electric range up to 200 horsepower. So there is some stuff happening behind the scenes there. There's a lot of that technology that's going into those new electric cars and whatnot. That they're working on the bigger horsepower motors. Obviously, the thing with any motor, it's got to do with the torque. So, you want that extra horsepower to get the boat up on the plane. With the electric motors, they're finding that they're actually, because they're so torquey, once they get them on the plane, they can back that power draw off and get further use out of them.
Just keep it up there, just enough power to keep it up there. Yeah. There's I run a Torpedo, which is a German-made motor, and it's called Cruise 4. It's equivalent to about an 8 horsepower motor.
Yeah,
but they make a 50 horsepower motor, and I do think they do make one. I'm pretty sure it's a 200 horsepower, but like you need some seriously big ass lithiums to push that thing, for the power.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's happening now. Like it's out there.
Certainly, I've got to give away. We're halfway through the show, so I've got to give away the postcode prize. We always do it in the first half of the show. So as I said, we've got a handful of stickers. We've got some hard bodies. We've got a big cod plastic and a little swim bait there. Harry, for those people that have been on and didn't know, my son's inside. He picks somebody at random, and I think half of the time he picks them by trying to make me say their name. So this one, postcode, and I hope I get it right, goes to Christina, and it's, now I got this wrong, Shatura. I'm hoping I'm saying that right, Shatura. It is spelled Tschutura. It's 4306. So, Christina, what you need to do is send me your address on through a private message onto Corey Sam Fishing Facebook page, and I will send you through your postcode prize. So that's the postcode given away. We've still got Harry's wheel later on for the best question, and we've still got some good ones here. We had a lithium batteries question earlier on. I think somebody was asking about brands. Is there a big difference in the brand in the lithium batteries?
I haven't had, but to me, you get what you pay for. Like, you see these lithium batteries for $400, $500, $600. Personally, myself, I wouldn't touch them with a barge pole. I have seen some horror stories on them. You know, boats catching fire because they're short out. They don't have the technology. You hear all types of weird and strange things about lithium batteries. But you know, I'm running 2 different lots of batteries. I've got an Drive 100 amp hour 24 volt for my low range stroll motor for the Ghost. I've got a 100 amp hour Drive for my in-house battery, and that just runs the electronics, lights, pumps, everything else. And then I've got 2 48 volt 75 amp hour Invicta batteries. I got one off Mick Johnson that he fitted up for me, and I got the other one off Steve Eldred from Battery Traders down here in Brizzy. And those things, I've gone from having 7 batteries into my boat to having 4 now, and I've dropped 160 kilos out of my boat.
That's really cool. So that's not just weight, but the thing with lithium batteries as well is they can bank them up for you. So if you've got a 36 volt system, literally, you know, dollars are the difference, but you can buy one 36 volt battery. You don't have to buy 3 12 volt batteries and parallel them together, do you? No.
Like, during a regular year, I would go through. My batteries would last me anywhere between maybe 12 to 18 months.
Yep.
With my AGMs, and I have tried so many different batteries over the years. I've always pushed them hard, especially during tournaments and stuff like that. But with the technology that they've got now, especially like apps that you can have on your phone, you can actually see what your battery's doing, what you're drawing and whatnot. It's like a fuel gauge for your battery. You can see what you're doing, how much you've got left. It's just phenomenal. It's next level.
And that probably leads into the next one. Kevin's asked here, how has battery technology improved the fishing needs of the electric series?
Well, to me, okay, I haven't picked up a lot of speed. My boat with the 7 AGMs in would get pretty close to 10K. I'd be sitting on around about 9.8K. Since I've dropped that 160 kilos out, I'm getting 10.9 now. I haven't cracked 11, unfortunately. But, you know, and obviously that doesn't sound a lot to people, but in an electric boat, you know, that's, especially in Australia, that's not too bad. It's sort of like one of the fastest boats going around. I think Flinny might have me a fraction. I don't know. I'd like to give him a race over a couple hundred metres just to see.
But that's like in a situation where if you're going a kilometre up the dam and you're doing a kilometre an hour faster, you know, it's a big difference, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. It's like anything. It's like the Bass Pros. You know, the guys that have the bigger and the faster boats, or even the Brent series. It doesn't matter what tournament you're fishing. The more speed you have, the more fishing time you have. So it just gives you that option to be able to fish longer and make it back. But you know, being able to fish a tournament, like in the early days of fishing Wivenhoe and whatnot, guys would run out probably doing 7Ks, and you would see at the end of the day, we were doing big runs out there, probably 15 plus Ks, which is nothing now, because I'll easily do up to 25 Ks in a day, quite easy, and still come home pushing 9.5 Ks.
Yeah.
But you'd see these guys go out, fish tournaments, and it'd be just a dead crawl on the way back. So the way I'd say the lithiums have improved with the electric series is if you go out doing 8, 9 Ks, you can come back doing 8 or 9 Ks, providing you're watching your apps, the stuff that you can, all the technology that you've got to work with. on those batteries.
And not only that, with the whole way that lithium works, we were talking about it before we come on air, is your charge time's less as well. So if
it's phenomenal.
It is a 2-day comp.
Yeah, you know, sometimes if we're fishing like the grand final, there'd be guys worried that they wouldn't get their lead acid or their AGMs back up overnight. But with lithiums, like after basically a solid day of fishing, which is probably 10, 12, 14 hours for me, my batteries are back up to 2 to 3 hours. They're fully charged.
There you go. Paul's got back to us. He said it's in the Newcastle water catchment. So we'll have to look that one up and see if it's
Paul, I'll definitely look into that, mate. But like I say, you know, to be able to travel down south, I'm more than willing to go down there. It's just we need to get the numbers to a tournament. Like it's not a competition if there's 7, 8 blokes there.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, you want to make it worth your while. And mate, if we can get the blokes there, I'm more than happy to go there.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's the key is, you know, getting the word out there. Like I'm down, you know, on the Victoria New South Wales border now. I'm not involved in that southeast Queensland corner that I was for 10 years. And in amongst it, we need the guys down here to realise that there is other venues, and if we can get people to support them, you'll do them. So you know,
for sure.
Victorians are always saying down here that you know, there's not enough comps. Well, you know,
you come to them, we'll come to you.
That's it. All right, we've got another question. Alex wants to know what's your favourite venue? If you had to choose one, what's your favourite?
Oh, I've got that's a hard mate. Warralong. What? Just the toughness of the fish there. Like the fish in Warralong are the hardest hitting, dirtiest biting bass I've ever caught. Most of the guys that fish there or have taken there, you know, we're fishing 20 and 20 and still getting smoked. And like, it's just come springtime at that place. It's a different place to fish through autumn, winter. I've been putting a little bit of time out there lately and getting a few fish, some all right ones, but it's a bit of a slog. But yeah, that spring bite at Warralong, man, it's just next level. And yeah, the fish is so aggressive.
Oh, that's so Warralong.
Yeah, Warralong.
Yeah, right. Yeah. See, mine's Kenya, and unfortunately, I've had to pull the pin. I'm not going to make it up to Kenya in a couple of weeks' time for the ABT round. But yeah, my favourite venue to fish for bass is definitely Kenya. So
that's a bit of a bummer, man, because I was actually going to hit you up on your way back to stop in, and I would meet you out at Inns and take you out the Inns for the day.
Yeah, just family stuff's got in the way for this one. So
family first, mate.
Yeah, family first. I'll be up to Somerset though, so I will be getting to. Although if I had the choice, I would have loved to have swapped them around and gone.
Yeah.
I'll go to Kenya and I'll forget about Somerset. I can tell you, I just don't like that joint. But the way that it's worked out, yeah, family has to come first for sure. Let's go through, find some more questions for you. Here's a good one. This is an electric one. So if you were starting a boat for the electric series, what piece of technology would you spend the most on? Great question.
Trolling motor.
Trolling motor?
Yeah.
And in this day and age too, I mean, everyone back in the day was sort of, you know, limited to your XI5s and stuff like that. But now you've got the Garmin Forces, the Lowrance Ghost, and the Motor Guide's now bringing out the Tour Pro, I think it's called, you know, brushless technology, all that sort of thing. If you were starting out a boat, would you go and buy, say, we'll use Lowrance because we both use Lowrance, go out and buy the Ghost and put it on the front, and that's pretty much all you'd need to start off, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. Like, trolling motor technology has come so far. Like you've experienced yourself over the last 10 years. Like I had them in Coda, and when they first came out with their iPilots that you could actually take the top off the old motor and put the iPilot connection on top, I thought, my God, how good is this technology? But you would drift around in the wind, you know, 5-6 meters, and then it would correct itself, put you back on the spot, and then it'd drift off again. Then I went to a motor guide, and I thought, man, how good is this? Like, this is just next level, this motor. It would pretty much keep you right on the spot. I didn't like the foot pedal. It was a cordless foot pedal. It was Bluetooth.
Yep.
I wasn't real fussed about that. Then I've gone to the lower ends, man, and it is just, I haven't had anything that competes with it. And I've been fishing tournaments like, probably 15 years. I think this is about my 4th or 5th motor. So, but yeah, I definitely wouldn't change to anything other than a lower ends.
Look, as far as I'm concerned, I was a big advocate for the XI5, and I love my XI5 because I proved it time and time again that the spot lock on that was better than anything else on the market. And it took me a long time to wait to see what the newer motor technology. Once a few guys had got some good reports. Yeah, I went out, lashed out, bought the Ghost. But I can tell you that at Glenbourne at the last comp, I was actually in the wind, spot locking inside the tops of trees, gulping, and I wasn't touching the branches with any end of the boat.
That's pretty incredible, isn't it? It's wild. And like for fishing places like Hinds Dam, when you're in the timber, like that video that was up that I had up there, being able to maneuver that motor inside that timber, because there's a lot of timber in Hinds, and to be able to maneuver it in that timber is just, it's awesome. It's next level.
Yep, that's right. I mean, I do love anywhere where there's timber and fishing for bass because it's hard to land them. Peter wants to know sort of prices. What prices are good lithium batteries these days?
Do you really want to know? It's, mate.
Well, if you work it out, I work out anything for value for money. So if you're paying a certain amount, and when I worked it out, if you're paying a certain amount for an AGM battery, right, and it gives you a 1 to 2 year warranty. If you buy a lithium battery, generally the better brands give you a 5 to 7 year warranty.
Yeah,
so if it's going to last you 5 to 7 years instead of 12 months, the value is there. Then they're not cheap, but they're
not cheap. Okay, the Enerdrive that I'm running at the moment for my front motor, I put that in my boat in August 2018. We were actually pre-fishing for the grand final at Wivenhoe. It's nearly 3 years old. In that time, I would be at least on my second set of AGMs by now.
Yeah.
So once I get to 3 years, that battery's paid for itself. If it goes over 3 years, mate, I'm laughing. I'm absolutely laughing.
Yeah.
But like you say, you get what you pay for, especially with lithium.
For sure. Definitely for sure. And with anything, I know I'm a big, supporter of Mick and Invicta and everything else. I'm not running lithium batteries at the present time because when I bought my boat, I had brand new batteries in them. So I'm not doing anything until they're gone.
Yeah.
But in the sense of, what Mick and I had lithiums in my older, in the old Champion. I had lithiums in that. Absolutely loved them. But, just make sure that if you're buying, doesn't matter what brand it is, it has a proper battery management system built into it. Yeah. Because those cheaper ones that you get, like anything else, the battery management system aren't in it. And when you went with a lithium battery, it's different to an AGM battery that, literally, if it arcs out in your boat, it will melt the aluminium.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it'll just keep going. It won't give up like a lead acid battery will pop, where a lithium battery will just keep going until it's melted everything. So, just make sure that it's got a really good battery management system built into it.
And Bluetooth to your phone too. Like the app that you can have, it tells you what you can do throughout the day. I've only had my lithium go flat on me once, and that was when I was pre-fishing. When I first put it in there, doing the pre-fish for Wivenhoe, I was running on 10 everywhere, all over the place. At full noise, the battery draws 40 amps. If I drop that down to 90%, the battery draws 23 amps, and I lose around about 0.4 of a K in speed.
Yep.
So, you run full, it's like a V8, you run full noise anywhere, you're going to suck the fuel.
Yeah.
So if you just drop it back to 90% or 80%, you'll definitely see the decrease in it, but they just run at that speed the whole day. It's no sort of like with an AGM, it just sort of like curves off and you just go slower and slower and slower. It just goes and then, stops.
Yeah. It's like all the lithium technology that's come out before and after. If you got your battery drill, it's got a lithium battery in it. You can keep drilling those holes until then all of a sudden it just stops.
Yeah.
It'll give you
power. That's why they have little lights on the front of the battery so you can check the state of the battery.
Yep. All right. Scotty wants to know, is it worth running a solar panel on the boat? Would you
No.
Would you have it huge to be of any use?
No. From my understanding, and I have researched it, from my understanding, it's not going to put enough amp hours back into your battery to warrant it.
Right.
And obviously, it's just going to take up space on your boat.
Yeah.
So I definitely have looked into it. Maybe further down the track when solar panels become more effective and can pump more charge, maybe.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's not worth it.
Bo wants to know, would you look at running a yellow belly or cod electric comp for something different?
I would definitely love to do a quad electric. And I've mentioned to the boys, especially Joey, last year or the year before, man, I would love to do a barrow electric on lentils. That would be awesome. Yeah. I've had that idea for a few years. I've probably got to approach Morgo and see if he'd be keen to do it. Obviously, it'd be good straight after the Barrow tour from up north. They could do it on the way back. This year, we have our grand final at Lentils, and I think that those guys are doing it as they come back down from the Barrow tour.
That'd be a good idea.
Early October, 2nd and 3rd of October.
Yep. For those guys that are out there that, we've had a couple of questions in that might be interested in doing them, flick out, what are your dates for your next couple of rounds?
Okay, we've got Maroon. That's on the 13th of June. So what's probably 3 weeks away.
That's at Maroon,
Ends is the 11th of July. So, and then we have Barumba. It's a 2-dayer. It's an afternoon session and a morning session, and that's on the 21st and 22nd of August. Then we have Lentils. Sorry, I want to mix this up. Yeah, Lentils is on the 18th and 19th of September.
Yep.
And then we've got the Oz Open at Warralong, which is one person per boat, $250 entry fee, 100% payback, and that's on the 2nd and 3rd of October.
Yeah.
And I really expect that to fish really well this year. It's had water go through it. I was out there the other day, Saturday afternoon, and the water was clean as. So yeah, it's looking really good for October.
That's I'm just reading some of the comments there. Yeah, so you've got people have got the opportunity still to get out and fish 3 or 4 more rounds. Then you've got the Oz Open Grand Final towards the end of the year. Oz Open is the big cash one where you put in the big money and get the big cash back, and obviously the Grand Final where you win the little prize boat if you win it.
Yeah. Like the Oz Open, well, it was cancelled at the last minute last year. We were all at the briefing, and we got word. Morgo got word from Sec Water to say that the dam was shut because they were using it for water bombing purposes, like obviously draining water or taking water out of the dam. There was fires locally, so they had water bombers coming in and using the dam to fill up. So it got cancelled last moment. But the year before that, it paid out $3,000 in for first prize, which is for an electric tournament is insane.
That's good money anyway, mate.
It is bloody good money.
Yeah. No, you'd take that any day of the week for sure. Just going through some last questions before I get Harry on and do the wheel. Get your questions in. I don't know if he's taking the mickey or not, but Paul Fleming wants to know if he can run a generator on his boat.
No. That constitutes a petrol motor.
I'm just using it to charge, though.
You can try it, but I don't want to DQ you.
Yeah, that's it. What sort of speed do the electric boats achieve these days? Dave wants to know.
Yeah, Dave, I'm pushing 10.8, 10.9. And I've probably got one of the fastest boats. I think Flinny might have me, like I said earlier on, I'd like to give him a run over a couple 100 metres just to see. I'd definitely like to give him a run over a fair distance because I definitely, like my batteries, what I'm running now, I think I would definitely have him.
Yeah, for sure. Just checking where Harry is. If Harry's around, he's out there, so that's all good. So I'll go over. What I'll do, mate, is I'll give you a chance to run out and have a leak or whatnot. I'm just going to do Harry's wheel here, and we'll come back and finish off with you. Anyone's got some chance, so I'll put you in the green room, and I'll come back in the chat. All right, so what we've got to do here is we've got to pick somebody, and I thought there was a really cool question early on, and it was Alec Marty. Is it Marty? M-A-R-T-I. Alec, you've got to respond within 2 minutes and let us know that you're on there, Alec, and you've got to ask Harry to spin the wheel. So you've got 2 minutes to get on there. That was Alec. It's M-A-R. Get the spelling right. M-A-R-T-I. So it's M-A-R-T-I. Let's see if he's still on. Yo. All right. So you got to ask Harry to spin the wheel. We've got some pretty cool prizes. Got to read a few out. Tech Angler, big sponsor of the show. 2-hour Lowrance touring session. Obviously, Wilson, Bluefin, Goldie's Maintenance, Ray Broughton Lures or RTB Lures, Bassman Spinnerbaits. We've got Allocraft Cod Dog Lures. They've got some cool stuff, been a big sponsor of the show. Jones Doyle, Goldie's Adventures. We've got Central Vic Lure Casters with a bespoke pack, Lee Martin Marine, Duff Rods, Tonic Eyewear, and Lowrance. So there's plenty of great prizes to be won. Alex is going to win one. He's there. He's told Harry to spin the wheel. So I'll bring Harry on. Hello, Harry.
Hello.
Oh, if anyone doesn't know, Harry's wearing a double face mask because he's had the day off sick today. He doesn't want to give anyone the COVID virus, I believe, mate.
There's 3.
That's 3 face masks. Well, how about you just leave the one over your face, take the other ones off so we can see your eyes. That'll do. And Alex wants you to spin him up a prize, so you better spin one up for him, mate.
Okay, I think I should give it a spin.
Give it a spin.
Two.
Yeah, you don't want to do that too much. What have we got?
Goldie's Adventures.
Goldie's Adventures. So that's my my oldest son. He's actually put up a voucher. So let's have a look. We've got that's a super cheap BCF voucher, $25 worth, Alex. So what you need to do is send me through your details to Corey's Damn Fishing Facebook page, and I will post that out for you. That's a $25 voucher. Thanks to Goldie's Adventures. So if you haven't liked my son's Instagram account, it's Goldie's Adventures 98. Get on that one. Thanks again, Harry.
I just wasted 3 masks.
That's all right. You'll need them later on in the week when I take you in for your COVID test. All right, mate. Talk to you later on. Thanks for your help. Thanks, Alec. All right, we're all done. Get this all set back up here. We're back. Look at that. Yep. He's had the flu all week. So he's weekend we went over and helped my old man unpack his house, and somehow he got the flu. So we're very scared when we get the flu down here. With it's a case of we've kept him home from school. It is definitely a flu. We might even just to get him back at school. We've probably got to take him for a COVID test. So
yeah, you wouldn't want to cough in a shopping centre down there, would you?
Mate, you get scared. You really get scared to sneeze, fart, burp. I mean, it is terrible. I was in the shops the other day and I got the sneeze up. And I actually ended up running outside because I couldn't hold it back and it was coming. Everyone just looks at you as if you're a leper if you sneeze down there. It's terrible. Everyone's going on. Yeah, Alex said thank you. Anything you want to cover off before we finish off? We normally only go for an hour, mate.
Yeah, mate, no, just more so appreciate what you're doing for the sport. You know, you're getting it out there, which is awesome. I try to watch every week. I'm normally in bed by this time of night, like that. But no, mate, I really appreciate what you're doing for the sport.
No, thank you, and keep up the good work with your stuff. Obviously, as I said, we're doing something totally different. I try and evolve as much as what I can. Matty Langford actually rang me a couple of weeks ago, and he said, I want to do a Q&A type show where I just sit there and I answer all your questions in depth. And he said, I'll stay on for as long as the questions keep coming in for. So next week, we'll go on for as long as the questions come in for, and he will answer any of your fishing questions in depth. It won't be me talking. It'll be Langers answering all your questions. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm getting a bit hoarse in the voice.
All good. But, hey, just one thing.
Yep.
If you're going up to Somerset to fish it, try and put one day aside after the comp.
No, I'll put it up. I'm going to be there for probably a week, either leading up or after. My son's having his engagement party. That's why I have to get to Somerset. He's got a housewarming and engagement party on around that time. So I'm going to try and line it all up where I'll come up for a bit of a family holiday. So yeah, we'll shoot out for a bit of a fish for sure.
Too easy, mate. Good talking to you.
All right, mate. Thank you very much, everyone, for being on again. We'll be back next week, Monday night, chewing the fat. But for everyone tonight, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you all later on. Just stay on, and I'll have a chat to you off here, mate.
Too easy.